Nasir El-Rufai, former Minister of the FCT. He joins us from Abuja. Morning, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, then well, we also do have in the studios here with us Mr. Babatunde Ogala, who is a former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Thank you for coming on also.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
Okay, well, looking at this report generating a lot of dust, I'm going to start from Madam Nasir El-Rufai in Abuja. Lots of comments about this report. I mean, the last gentleman did say that, well, he thinks it's a work in progress and as such should not be seen in any way as a final report, which he thinks that many Nigerians think they should run with this report when there's a big question mark on this. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think there is a big question mark on it. The man is an accountant, and sometimes accountants can be slaves to process, but I don't think the real world works that way. I listened to him, and I think he made certain statements that are at best misleading that I would like to talk about. First, he is under the impression that it is possible to look at petroleum revenues in this country without looking at NNPC. That is not correct. NNPC collects all the revenues from all the joint ventures, which account for about 60% of the total revenues. So you cannot talk about petroleum revenues without looking at NNPC and its operations. That's one. Secondly, the DPR only plays a role in the collection, in the determination of royalties. And the FIRS, Inland Revenue Service, collects petroleum profit tax. And you need to look at all these three and how they are doing their job to talk about petroleum revenue. So the accountant's contention that NNPC was not under investigation is wrong. They have to be looked at for you to correct those things. That's one. Secondly, it is not possible for anyone to understand the petroleum industry in 45 days or 60 days or even 3 or 6 months. So the Ribadu report can only do so much. The rest must be internally finalized, if you want to put it that way. So for anyone to say that this report is work in progress presupposes that, you can have an end to it. You can never have an end to it. Every day we produce 2 million barrels of oil plus, and every day the picture is changing. So if you say that, you want, it is not an audit. It's not something that you audit and say up to 31st of December. Okay? So I think that what Ribadu's committee has done is good enough for submission to the government, and the government has its own internal processes. No one submits a report to the government and it takes it as if it is the Quran or the Bible. Okay? A review committee, usually a white paper committee, is set up to look at the recommendations and accept, note, or reject them. They should do that. Nobody should pick one figure and say, because the committee said we didn't have time to verify this, so we throw away the report. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. This man is either coming to defend Oronsanye because they are fellow accountants, or, the way he is handling internal reports of the government and even minutes points to the fact that maybe he's a sympathizer that was brought to this program to just rubbish the report. Right, I think the report is a decent beginning.
Let's just focus on the issues, because he's not here to respond to anything that may say to his person. No, but give us the benefit of
Chamberlain, I couldn't help.
You were a former minister.
I agree. I couldn't help listening.
Just a minute. You were a former minister in the FCT. Give us the benefit of hindsight. If a report was submitted to you, and then it says, well, some of the figures in the report has not been independently verified, do you go ahead in spite of that caveat and implement the report as it were?
Yeah, there are many aspects of the report that have nothing to do with figures. There are institutional and structural recommendations that can be implemented without talking about figures. But even the figures that they said are not independently verified, the usual thing is for the government to set up an internal team to verify those figures. The report has pointed out the inconsistencies and the conflicts. The government should set up its own internal team to verify those figures and move with it. That's how it is done. You don't throw the baby with the bathwater. No, it's not done that way.
Okay, let me get Mr. Gala to respond to this one. I mean, people have the impression that the government says they're going to just throw this completely all away. What if they come tomorrow and say, no, we didn't say we're going to dump everything. The report is incomplete, and as such, we really have got to get a report that we can work with. To the extent that if it says this aspect has not been verified, it gives them some sort of lacuna.
Look, I think we should not be playing with semantics. Well, it's been said that the government has said the report is incomplete. I think Doyo Kupe was quoted to have spoken for the government, to have said it was an incomplete report, and as such, the government is going to do away with it. Like Nasir El-Rufai said, even the man who came earlier and said it was work in progress, do you even pick up a document or an assignment that is work in progress and say because the job is incomplete, whatever has been done up to this point, we throw it away? I think not. If it's work in progress, then continue working till you get it to the final point. Now, if you say this report, there are areas that have not been touched up, the areas that have not been completed, for Jove, by Jove, like Madam said, complete it. They had terms of reference. Did they work within their terms of reference? Those are the questions. If they made institutional restructuring recommendation, please go ahead. If they did not verify what was paid as petroleum tax, please, you go ahead and do that.
Isn't that what Oronsai said?
Look,
He said
what Oronsai said, I think we should not talk about Oronsai. We don't respect what Oronsai did on the day of the presentation report, which we also was a show of shame. He has shown himself to be a man that is even not fit to hold any office in this country. There is a man who was secretary to the government of the Federation of Nigeria. The man who headed the committee on the civil service restructuring, as it were, and who now sits on the board of the NNPC. If you appointed a member of the committee and you did not attend meetings, and on the day of submission report, let's even assume, though not conceding, that he indeed participated in the procedure of the committee and did not agree with what they came up with. You did not come on the day of the submission of the report. You will only be showing a very high sense of irresponsibility. If you did not agree with the majority report, have yours ready. It's like I give an analogy. There's a matter in the Supreme Court, or the Court of Appeal, or indeed any court that sits as a panel. On the day of judgment, the lead judgment is read. Usually maybe 4-1, 3-2, 2-1, as it were. Somebody reads the lead judgment. And then the person who has said he does not agree with the lead judgment says, oh, I do not agree, but you will come back to come and listen to my own minority judgment. You must be ready on that day. He knew they were going to submit that report on that day, if he was a member of the committee and was participating. If he claimed not to have known, it only confirms what Ribadu said, that he was not attending meetings.
But our last guest talked about another person that also did not agree with that report, Ikoli.
Engineer
Ikoli took a disclaimer in the newspapers.
I mean, does that show responsibility? Why did you not write your reports? Look, for me, is the president they embarrassed? They embarrassed the president, and I dare say those who advise the president also exposed him to ridicule. You had appointed these two gentlemen to probe that sector, or to be part of a probe panel for the petroleum sector. While that assignment was on, you appointed them as directors of one of the bodies that they certainly will probe. And you did not deem it fit to withdraw them from the committee. Yes, some people have said, oh, they should have resigned. Well, we know the Nigerian factor, having the best of two worlds. So it is the presidency itself that Onosaye and his team of minority reporting or mischief makers are embarrassing. Why did the president leave them in? One is director of finance, Oti. Onosaye is a member of the board of the NNPC. And then an Ikoli that is now going on the pages of newspaper. Why did you not sit at the meeting and agree on the contents of your report? This is the report. We agree on this is what we are going to do. Or we do not agree. we will write our own minority reports. Or indeed, theirs could even be the majority. And
You know, the way it
minority.
is.